What if I told you that one of the most influential figures of the 21st century, a man who's redefined the boundaries of technology and space exploration, has just dropped an earth-shattering truth that has the internet buzzing? This revelation isn't about rockets or artificial intelligence. It's about a religious icon who has been depicted one way for centuries. But what if that depiction was all wrong? Yes, we're talking about Jesus Christ, a man whose image has become synonymous with Western civilization and faith. What if the person you've been taught to believe in, one of the most famous and sacred figures in history, wasn't the way you've always imagined him? In this video, we're diving deep into Elon Musk's shocking statement that has set the world on fire. Are you ready? Let's explore why Musk believes that Jesus Christ was, in fact, a man of color, and how this could change everything we know about religion, history, and society today. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Keep watching. Elon Musk is no stranger to stirring the pot. Whether it's his bold vision for Mars, his thoughts on AI, or his latest ventures into electric vehicles, Musk has built a reputation for making audacious statements that challenge the status quo. But today, he's taking on something much deeper, much more complex, something that has been ingrained into the collective consciousness for centuries: the racial identity of Jesus Christ. Musk, in typical fashion, made these remarks during a live-stream discussion that usually revolves around topics like innovation and technological progress. However, the conversation took an unexpected turn when an audience member posed a seemingly innocuous question about religious narratives and their place in today's world. What followed was a revelation that would shake the very foundations of religious and cultural beliefs. Elon Musk's statement was simple, yet profoundly impactful. He said, "If you look at the historical context, it's plausible, maybe even probable, that Jesus was not the European figure often depicted in art. By all accounts, he was likely a man of color, someone we might today call Black Jesus." Now think about that for a moment. The figure of Jesus, a man who has shaped billions of lives over millennia, has often been painted with fair skin, blue eyes, and light features. But Musk's assertion directly challenges this image, suggesting that our long-held beliefs might not be as accurate as we once thought. This isn't just a casual comment, it's a radical claim, one that calls into question everything we've been taught about the physical identity of Jesus Christ. Musk didn't stop at simply throwing out a provocative claim. No, he went on to elaborate, diving into the historical and anthropological studies that support his assertion. To understand the true identity of Jesus, Musk emphasized the context of first-century Judea. Jesus, a Jewish man born in a region that was under Roman occupation, would have shared the physical traits common to the Afro-Semitic populations of the time. These populations, living in what is now Israel, Palestine, and surrounding regions, typically had darker skin tones, very different from the pale, fair-skinned Jesus seen in so much of Western art. Musk pointed out that the Roman occupation of Judea, along with the geographical proximity to North Africa and the Middle East, would have influenced the physical characteristics of the people in that area, including Jesus. Yet, despite this historical context, we continue to see depictions of Jesus as a European figure, a portrayal that only gained dominance after the Renaissance. So, how did we get here? How did the image of a man who lived in the Middle East come to resemble a Nordic figure? Musk brought up the influence of Renaissance artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. These famous artists were commissioned by European patrons, wealthy elites who wanted to create representations of Christ that reflected their own cultural ideals. As a result, we saw the emergence of iconic paintings like Da Vinci's The Last Supper and Michelangelo's The Last Judgment. These artworks showcased a Jesus with light skin, flowing hair, and European features, traits that aligned with the beauty standards and cultural norms of Renaissance Europe. These images were not just artistic choices, they were steeped in ideology. The Renaissance coincided with a period of European expansion and colonialism, and these depictions of Jesus mirrored the racial and cultural dominance that European powers sought to project across the world. Musk's point was that these depictions of Jesus, though beautiful and iconic, tell us more about the societies that created them than about the man they were intended to represent. It's fascinating how deeply our perceptions are shaped by the narratives we're exposed to, whether in art, history, or even our understanding of abundance and success. This idea of transformation, of questioning old beliefs and unlocking new opportunities, applies to every aspect of life. Recently, revelations from a rogue NASA scientist have been shaking up the spiritual community, revealing shocking secrets about attracting wealth and abundance effortlessly. If you're ready to reimagine what's possible for you in 2025, don't wait. Check the link in the comments below before this opportunity disappears. Now let's dive back into this profound exploration. Now let's pause and think about the larger implications of Musk's statement. If society were to embrace the idea of Jesus as a man of color, what would change? Musk posed a powerful question. What if we accepted that Jesus wasn't European, but instead came from a racially diverse background, as people of color do? The implications of this shift would be far-reaching. For one, it would challenge centuries of racial power dynamics. The image of a white Jesus has been deeply embedded in Western culture, and it has been used as a tool to reinforce ideas of European superiority, both in religious and political contexts. The idea of a black Jesus, on the other hand, could serve as a symbol of justice, solidarity, and empowerment, especially for marginalized communities who have long felt excluded from the dominant narratives. Musk pointed out that reimagining Jesus as a man of color could disrupt these historical narratives. It would force us to confront the ways in which race has shaped religious and cultural power structures. In this new context, a black Jesus could become a symbol of resistance, a figure who stands not just for religious salvation, but also for the oppressed and marginalized. Musk's remarks go beyond just religion. They delve into the fabric of societal issues that continue to shape our world today. These issues, such as systemic racism and entrenched power dynamics, remain deeply embedded in our collective consciousness. By challenging the long-held image of a white Jesus, Musk invites us to rethink not only religious narratives, but also the broader stories we tell about identity, culture, and history. This challenge forces us to confront questions about representation and the selective way history has been recorded and taught. The reimagining of Jesus, as someone reflecting the racial diversity of his actual historical and geographical context, has the potential to ignite a much-needed dialogue. Such a dialogue could encourage us to address the erasure of people of color in religious and cultural narratives. Advocates of Musk's perspective argue that this is an important first step toward acknowledging the biases that have shaped centuries of art, theology, and societal norms. These advocates suggest that re-examining such deeply rooted misconceptions is essential for creating a more inclusive and accurate understanding of history. However, this idea is not without its challenges. It represents a radical departure from centuries of tradition, which could provoke resistance from those deeply invested in maintaining the status quo. For many, the image of a white Jesus is more than a depiction. It is a deeply ingrained symbol tied to their faith and identity. This attachment underscores the difficulty of challenging long-held beliefs, even when historical evidence suggests otherwise. The implications of Musk's comments reach far beyond religious representation. They highlight the power of imagery in shaping not only individual beliefs, but also societal structures. The images we associate with divinity and authority often reflect the dominant ideologies of the time in which they were created. In the case of Jesus, the fair-skinned European depiction that gained prominence during the Renaissance was not merely an artistic choice, but a reflection of the cultural and political hegemony of Europe during that period. These images were tools used to reinforce notions of racial and cultural superiority, subtly influencing perceptions of power and morality. A shift to embracing the idea of a racially diverse, or Afro-Semitic Jesus could have profound ramifications. It could disrupt historical power dynamics and provide marginalized communities with a more relatable and empowering representation of divinity. For communities that have long felt excluded from dominant religious narratives, such a shift could be a source of validation and solidarity. This new imagery could inspire a sense of connection to a shared humanity, breaking down barriers that have historically divided people based on race and ethnicity. Musk's comments also force us to reckon with the broader question of how racial narratives have been constructed and perpetuated. Could a more inclusive depiction of Jesus serve as a catalyst for broader societal change? Could it inspire other efforts to re-examine historical inaccuracies and challenge systemic biases? These are the questions at the heart of the controversy. Critics of Musk's remarks argue that such discussions risk oversimplifying or politicizing a deeply spiritual figure. They caution against using Jesus' image as a battleground for cultural debates. Nevertheless, proponents believe that this reimagining, far from diminishing the spiritual essence of Jesus, could enhance our understanding of his message by situating it within the diverse and complex realities of the world he lived in. Ultimately, the controversy surrounding Musk's comments serves as a microcosm of a larger cultural reckoning. It is not merely about one historical figure. It is about challenging the narratives that have shaped our understanding of race, power, and representation for centuries. By encouraging these conversations, Musk has sparked a critical dialogue that has the potential to reshape not only how we see Jesus, but also how we understand ourselves and the world we share. The reaction to Musk's comments has been nothing short of explosive. On social media, hashtags like Black Jesus and Musk on Religion flooded platforms as people shared their thoughts on his statement. Some hailed Musk as a visionary, applauding him for his willingness to speak uncomfortable truths. Others, however, accused him of overstepping his bounds. Critics argued that Musk, despite his brilliance in tech and business, lacks the expertise to comment on matters of theology and history. One prominent criticism was that Musk's statement was nothing more than a publicity stunt, a calculated move designed to generate buzz rather than spark meaningful discourse. Musk, after all, is not a historian, theologian, or cultural scholar. Some questioned whether his comments were genuine or simply a way to leverage his platform for attention. Despite the criticisms, Musk's influence is undeniable. His words have reached millions, and in doing so, he's forced people to reconsider the racial identity of one of the world's most iconic figures. Musk's comments are not entirely new. For years, scholars and theologians have debated the physical appearance of Jesus. Traditional depictions of Christ, particularly those originating from Europe, owe more to cultural and political agendas than to historical accuracy. Early Christian art, from the Byzantine Empire to Ethiopia, often depicted Jesus in ways that reflected the physical traits of local populations. These portrayals showed Jesus with darker skin and features more closely resembling those of the Mediterranean and Afro-Semitic peoples. As European colonialism spread, so too did these Eurocentric depictions of Jesus. Through paintings, sculptures, and eventually mass media, the image of a fair-skinned Jesus became the dominant representation. This shift wasn't just aesthetic, it was ideological. It was tied to the expansion of European powers and the reinforcement of racial hierarchies. Musk's comments align with a growing movement to deconstruct these Eurocentric portrayals and explore a more historically accurate understanding of Jesus' identity. The question of how Jesus looked is more than just an academic one. It is deeply connected to how we understand race, power, and representation in today's world. Musk's comments also bring into focus the evolving nature of global Christianity. As the Christian faith spreads across Africa, Asia, and Latin America, the traditional European image of Jesus becomes increasingly out of step with the lived realities of the majority of Christians worldwide. This growing global diversity calls for a reimagining of religious imagery that reflects the experiences of a broader range of believers. For many, the idea of a Black Jesus is not simply a theoretical exercise. It is a powerful symbol of empowerment and inclusion. In African American communities, the image of a black Jesus has long been a central figure in liberation theology. This theology, which emerged in the 20th century, emphasizes the identity of Jesus as a marginalized man living under oppression, making him a powerful symbol of solidarity with the oppressed. Elon Musk's comments have undoubtedly sparked a conversation that transcends the boundaries of theology, history, and race. Whether you agree with his interpretation or not, his statement has forced society to confront difficult questions about identity, representation, and the power of religious imagery. In the end, this is not just about challenging long-held religious beliefs. It's about how the stories we tell and the images we hold dear shape our understanding of the world and our place in it. The image of Jesus, whether seen as black, white, or something else, has profound implications for how we view ourselves, our faith, and our society. Elon Musk's intervention has opened up a necessary conversation about race, religion, and history, one that will continue to echo for years to come. Thank you for watching. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking content like this.